Welcome to Introduction to Youth Trapshooting. Of the clay target sports in Iowa, trapshooting is currently the most popular. The purpose of this presentation is to help parents and interested others gain a better understanding of how trapshooting is played and how the Iowa DNR Shooting Sports Program and the Scholastic Clay Target Program provide structure and support for trap and the youth shooting sports in general. The Scholastic Shooting Sports Foundation is the nonprofit educational athletic organization that provides funding and resources for youth development programs in the shooting sports industry. The Scholastic Clay Target Program, or SCTP, is just that for shotgun clay target sports. Its backbone is comprised of parents, coaches, and volunteers implementing the program, not only promoting safe gun handling skills and expertise in practice and competition, but also teamwork, sportsmanship, responsibility, and other positive life skills for the athletes. Trained and dedicated volunteer coaches are committed to providing their young athletes opportunities to participate in a high-quality, team-based sport. First and foremost is safety, and secondly is having fun. Competition is an indispensable part of the SCTP program. It is set up for all grades from elementary through college, rookies being 5th grade and below, intermediates grades 6 through 8, seniors 9th through 12th grade, and collegiates. In addition to being a co-ed sport, the no bench warmers concept is highly promoted. Everyone competes. Once fulfilling safety and minimum practice requirements, athletes compete whether on the squad or individually, still as part of the team. Honoring the game is of the utmost importance. The win-at-all-cost philosophy has no place in SCTP. Striving to win while playing by the rules does. As role models, coaches, and adult volunteers are personally expected to practice and uphold high moral and ethical standards for their athletes to follow. We begin this presentation with the physical aspects of trap shooting. We will discuss the main components needed to play the game and how they are set up, namely the field, the trap machine, the target. Number one priority is discussion of safety and the rules that need to be adhered to. Then on to the basic how-to of playing the game and the 3 games involved. Discussion of the athlete's shotgun, ammunition, and other equipment needed will be touched on, with the specifics of those left to the team coach and his program. This will pertain to the shooting fundamentals as well. While playing the trap game, then, one must be aware of scoring and rules, our next segment, as well as the etiquette and dress conduct codes of the youth shooting sports. And finally, about the competition structure in Iowa. Please notice that all the while we are giving this overview, that ATA rulebook and SCTP handbook references are given in the lower right-hand corner of the slides for further explanation and background of the slide topic. American trap is the oldest of the clay target sports shot in the United States. The trap field uses 5 shooting posts and accommodates 5 athletes, which we call a squad. American trap utilizes 1 trap machine throwing targets at random angles 17 degrees left and right of center. The trap house is shown at point B on our center diagram. It is approximately 8 foot by 8 foot in size, recessed in the ground to allow the roof to protrude approximately 2.5 feet above the level of post 3. Constructed of concrete block or poured concrete, it has the entire downrange front open to throw targets. Usually a metal or plywood door covers the opening and is locked when not in use. In addition to housing the trap machine, there is sufficient room to stockpile cases of clay targets. The trap machine is installed in the trap house so that the throwing arm or plate that the target sets on is at the same level as post 3. The machine is equipped with a rotating carousel to hold 4 cases of targets. This would be a sufficient amount for a full squad to shoot a 100 target event before having to refill. The concrete runways or posts where the athletes stand are in a fan-shaped pattern, spaced 3 yards apart on an arc 16 yards from point B, where the target's set. Each runway extends to 27 yards. Along these are where handicap positions are stood. The right diagram on our slide depicts the downrange area where legal targets fly. The center or white area of that pattern is the 17-degree left and right of center area. The shaded areas on either side shows the allowable 10-degree of error that a target may be thrown, yet still be considered a legal target. Targets are thrown by use of one or two methods. When the athlete calls pull, either the scorekeeper puller pushes a manual button or a voice release system with a receiver at each post picks up the pull sound and throws the target. This system also has a control button at the scorer's table for manual override by the scorekeeper puller. Safety around the trap machine is of the utmost importance. Only qualified personnel should be adjusting or operating the machine. Approach the trap house from behind and to the side, and do not get in front of the target throwing area. Usually the side where the voice release or manual control cords enter the trap house is where the on-off button for the machine will be found. Before entering the trap house pit or stepping in front of the throwing area, disarm the trap machine. When the throwing arm is visibly protruding out to the side of the machine, it is uncocked or disarmed. And before entering the pit to load the machine, one must display some sort of warning device, whether it be a flag, a traffic cone, or even your ball cap, to let those on the line know that someone is in the pit. The clay target is a standard size and shape. However, it may come in a variety of colors, the choice of which is based on preference or use conditions. For example, in nighttime under the light shooting, an all-white target would be a good choice. Targets may be all orange as shown, orange domed with a black rim, all white, all black, fluorescent green, or even pink. The youth sports commonly use all orange or orange dome targets. Targets come packaged in a 135 count case. Why 135? A squad of 5 athletes shooting a round of trap uses 125 targets total, plus needing extras for the viewing target, failures to fire, or just regular breakage. The target is set between 8 and 10 feet in height, usually at 9 feet, at a horizontal point 10 yards from the target throwing point. To set this, setters use an adjustable gauge stick that is set on an established benchmark for this purpose. Once set to height, the target should travel 50 yards down the field center line. The NRA primary safe gun handling rules are: always keep the gun pointed in a safe direction, muzzle awareness. Keep the finger off the trigger until ready to shoot. The athlete's pre-shot routine should not have their finger on the trigger until they are ready to call for the target. And third, always keep the gun unloaded until ready to use. All personnel, including athletes, coaches, scorers, and trap personnel, must wear eye and ear protection while on the trap field. A basic on-range safety rule is action open and unloaded. Absolutely no movement is allowed in trap unless the action is open and visibly empty. Empty includes empty hulls as well as live rounds. On post, the shotgun is always pointed downrange with the action open until ready to shoot. Racked shotguns must also have their actions open and empty. Break actions may be racked closed but must be immediately broke open and visibly empty when pulled from the rack. Toe pads are not allowed in SCTP. Other than when changing chokes, at no time will the shotgun muzzle touch any part of the athlete's body. Magnetic pads may be used, however. Cease fire must be called and called loudly by anyone when a safety issue is seen or occurs. In Iowa, shells are ejected to hand or with the aid of a shell catcher, then pouched. On post, a dropped empty hull should be picked up after the round is over. If a live round is dropped, it may be picked up between post changes or with the help of a safety official. In basic play, athletes attempt to break 5 targets from each post, 1 shot per target. 1 target per athlete is shot at, then the next shooter shoots until 5 targets per post are shot at by each athlete. Then the 5 athletes or the squad rotate to the right or clockwise to shoot another series of 5 until each athlete has shot from each post for a total of 25 targets. In the following series of slides, we will discuss personnel allowed on the field who play the game and their duties. These include the squad leader, the athletes, the scorekeeper puller, sometimes called the referee scorer, and the safety officials. The squad leader is the athlete starting on post 1 and is always the first shooter after post changes. His duties are to make sure the squad is ready and ask, "Squad ready?" Make sure the scorekeeper puller is ready and ask, "Scorekeeper ready?" And then, when everyone is ready, the squad leader requests to see a whole target and asks, "Scorekeeper, may we see a target, please?" Viewing a target before the round begins is twofold in purpose. It gives the squad a chance to get a feel for the target's flight, but more importantly, to check to see if its flight is acceptable by the squad. In an earlier segment, we discussed the target being set for competition. In the course of a day, changing wind, for instance, may influence a target's flight to the point of being appreciably different, but not necessarily illegal. The squad leader and/or athletes may request a trap machine adjustment by the shoot director or management. However, the final decision to do so is left to the shoot director or management. Then, when ready to shoot a target, the squad leader calls pull. He must call loud enough so that the scorekeeper puller can hear, or loud enough that the voice release system will function. His duties then, after the round is complete, is to go to the scorer's table and review the score sheet and initial it. And if there are more than 1 trap being used for the event, the squad leader is to carry the score sheet to that next trap and give it to the scorekeeper. It is the responsibility of all athletes in competition to make sure that they are listed properly on the score sheet and that they begin their competition on the proper posts that they are listed on the score sheet. In the event of a questionable dead loss call by the scorekeeper puller, the athlete concerned must make the protest. His squad mates may alert him to a missed call, but it is his responsibility to make the protest immediately and get it resolved. If the athletes experience or see a safety issue, they must yell, "Cease fire!" loud enough for everyone in the area to hear and get the issue resolved. After the round, athletes should check their own score and verify. The scorekeeper puller, sometimes referred to as referee scorer, has numerous duties during a round of competition. They must call all missed targets lost, loud enough for the athletes on the line to hear. If a broken target is thrown, it must be called no target and have the target reshot for result. This applies whether the initial target was shot at or not. Then, once the 5 shots are taken by each athlete, the scorekeeper puller must announce, change, or rotate, and call off the dead targets shot by each athlete. After the last shot of the round, the scorekeeper announces squad out, and again calls off the final dead targets shot. During post changes, the scorekeeper should turn off the voice release system if one is being used. This eliminates wastage of targets and extra expense for the gun club. One very important point to remember is that the scorekeeper's decision as to whether a target is dead or lost is final. When calling the doubles event, 2 targets are shot at each call pool. Therefore, scorekeeper calls dead a pair, lost a pair, dead lost, or lost dead according to the results of the shots. Safety officials are used in Iowa during youth shooting events. During a trap competition, 1 or 2 are used depending on the directions of the match safety or shoot director. Usually they stand in the area of post 1 and post 5 runways to watch for safety concerns and to help resolve safety issues. Coaches may serve as safety officials, but they must be restricted from coaching during the event. Targets in the singles trap league are all shot from the 16-yard line. One of the new leagues in Iowa Youth Trap is the Handicap Trap League. This is where athletes shoot at greater distances than 16 yards and is based by SCTP on their school grade level. As background to compare with ATA handicap, in ATA registered shooting, handicap is determined by demonstrated ability and varies with a minimum handicap of 18 yards to a maximum of 27 yards. Another of the new leagues in Iowa trap shooting is Doubles Trap League. All targets are shot from the 16-yard line. Each athlete shoots 5 pairs of targets from each of the 5 posts. Upon calling pool, 2 targets are thrown simultaneously and shot, firing once at each target. Targets are always thrown at the same height and angle, regardless of the post shot from. Therefore, the athlete must have a shotgun that will shoot 2 shots, the most popular being the break action over-under. In the following segment, we will cover the guns, ammo, and equipment used by the athletes. Shotguns of any action type, 12 gauge or smaller, may be used as long as they are in safe and serviceable condition. 12 or 20 gauge are recommended, and the primary concerns of gun fit and recoil must be considered when choosing a shotgun. For felt recoil reduction, a gas-operated semi-auto shotgun is a good choice. Also, if possible, choosing a gun with adjustability in the comb and butt pad would be beneficial as the young shooter grows and matures physically. To attain good gun fit, the shotgun must also adapt. Choke selection can be adaptable to the shooting requirements, as most shotguns today have screw-in chokes and can be readily changed. Beginning shooters start with modified or improved cylinder chokes. Ammunition can range in choices also. Shot sizes vary from 7.5, 8, or 9s, and charge weights from 1 1/8 ounce and below. Be aware that the ATA, which is the national governing body for the trapshooting rules in SCTP, specifies shotgun charge weights and velocities allowed. A good all-around recommended load for 12 gauge is the 1 ounce number 8 shot 2 3/4 dram equivalent or 1200 feet per second load. Also, both factory and reload ammunition may be used in SCTP practice and competition. Eye and ear protection are mandatory for anyone on the trap field. The shell pouch or shooter's vest is required so that athletes have ready access to their ammo and are not bending down to pick it up. Also in Iowa, we put empty hulls in our pouch for safety and housekeeping reasons on the line. Closed-toed shoes are required by SCTP rule. Not only are they worn for safety, but also comfort, because you could be on the line for a majority of a day. Support equipment could include a gear bag, rain gear, thermal underwear, a ball cap. Another important item for the body is having bottled water available at all times. Keeping the body hydrated is necessary for maximum performance. Coaches begin their seasons concentrating on establishing the safety rules and procedures in trap shooting with each athlete. They check out each athlete's shotgun and equipment and work with them checking eye dominance and perfecting gun fit and on-post stance. The physical fundamentals of stance, gun mount, and hold points are stressed with beginning athletes, as well as a blend of the visual basics of soft focus and eyes to the target concepts. All the while, positive talk by the coach in correction and adjustment of the athlete brings them to the full-blown mental skills that they need in the trap games. Coaches continue their seasons using drills, exercises, and competition to hone their athletes' skill and success. In this segment, we will be discussing scoring and rules of the game. Rule books for youth shooting sports in Iowa can be downloaded for SCTP from sssfonline.org and for the national governing body for the trap shooting rules, which is the Amateur Trap Shooting Association, from shootata.com. ATA rulebooks can also be ordered in hard copy, or when downloading, it is a good idea to request booklet format so that it can be carried in your pocket when at the range. When a target is fired upon and a visible broken piece is seen or is completely reduced to dust, this is a dead target. On the score sheet, it is marked with a slash or an X in the appropriate box. When a target is fired upon and fails to break, whether it's missed completely or when only dust falls from it, it is a lost target and is marked in the score sheet with a 0 in the appropriate box. When both an X and an O appear in the same box on a score sheet, and if the target is finally ruled dead, the word dead must be written in that box or the target will automatically be ruled lost when it goes to the office. No score sheet erasures are allowed. A no target Should a target emerge from the trap house and is broken or appears with debris, no target is called by the scorekeeper and a new whole target is shot for results. This applies whether the original target is shot at or not. As we touched on earlier in this presentation, trap machines are set prior to competitions to throw targets within the legal limits of side angle, height, and speed. An athlete must shoot at a legal target and has the right to not shoot at an illegal target. However, should an illegal target be shot at, the shooter owns the results of that shot. An ammunition or gun malfunction may happen at any time. A soft load or blooper is when the shot fires and one of two things happen. If the shot leaves the barrel but the wad does not, a failure to fire situation is ruled. First, the barrel obstruction or wad must be removed and then the target is shot for result. However, if the shot and the wad leave the barrel, the results are scored. In a hangfire situation where the shot is taken but no report is heard, this could be a gun malfunction, say a broken firing pin, or it could be faulty ammo. In this instance, the safety practice is to keep the gun pointed downrange and the action closed for 30 seconds to ward off a possible latent ignition situation. This is also ruled a failure to fire and must be reshot for result. 2 failures to fire are allowed per 25 shot round. The third failure to fire and all subsequent failures to fire are ruled a lost target. The scorekeeper is required to denote failure to fire in the occurring box with an F1 or F2 designation. Other instances where failures to fire may occur would include having the safety on, wrong barrel selection in an over-under situation, or the shotgun not loaded. For these reasons, the athlete should carry a minimum of 2 to 3 additional shells to the line. In scoring protests, if during the round a shooter disputes the scorekeeper's call, the shooter must immediately protest the call and get it resolved before continuing. During post-change, when the scorekeeper calls off the dead targets of each shooter, if there is a disputed call, the athlete concerned must immediately protest and get resolution before shooting at the next post. 2 important points to remember: the athlete concerned must make the protest, and the scorekeeper's decision is final. In this chapter, we will touch on trap etiquette and the dress and conduct code. On the line, the squad leader is the person directing and communicating with the rest of the athletes. Squad members should reciprocate by giving the squad leader a verbal or physical indication that they are ready to proceed. Also, during the round, by keeping an eye on fellow squad mates' targets, they can make another member aware of a chipped target if necessary, and possibly substantiate a protest if asked to do so by the scorekeeper. As before, empty hulls are pouched with the aid of shell catchers or by ejecting to hand. After the round, thanking the scorekeeper for their job done will go a long way for relations. Again, coaching during competition is not allowed. Coaching is done at practice and between competition rounds. During competition is when the athletes prove what coaching has done for them. Enthusiasm is a factor of competition parents, supporters, and onlookers, and respectful support for those athletes on the line is honoring the game. SCTP, as do other youth development programs, has a dress and conduct code. All coaches, athletes, and parents must inform themselves by reading the handbook and by practicing these essentials that are meant to give everyone involved a sense of pride in themselves and their sport. Enforcement of this dress conduct code will be emphasized this year. As stated, athletes will be given one warning, and subsequent violations will result in disqualification from the event. Our final segment is the Iowa SCTP Competition. Youth shooting sports are administered in Iowa by the Iowa DNR Scholastic Shooting Sports Program under the Scholastic Clay Target Program. Most everything, downloading forms and rules, registering team, athletes, coaches, and volunteers, setting up and squatting for competition, whether league, regional, state, or national, and posting scores and leaderboards are done online through Shot 5. The season for the SCTP Youth Shooting Sports begins September 1st and ends August 31st each year. For trap competition in Iowa, there are 3 leagues: singles, handicap, and doubles. Each is based on 200 targets shot for final score. Each match is typically a 50-target event. Therefore, 4 matches must be attended. League scores must be shot at 2 different venues. Best 200 scores are retained. Therefore, shooting multiple matches is beneficial. The 2016 Iowa SCTP State Trap Championships will be Thursday, June 9th through Sunday, June 12th, 2016. A comprehensive listing of rules and regulations regarding league and state championship events can be obtained by going online. Shoot-offs are a big part of the end-of-day competition, especially at championship events. This is where the physical, visual, and mental wherewithal of the athlete comes together to prove itself. Then on to the Nationals at the Cardinal Shooting Center in Marengo, Ohio, on July 9th through the 16th of 2016. The prerequisite is having participated at the state championships. Because of the growing popularity and success of the SCTP Clay Target Sports, this year's event has been increased in length by 2 days. The prestigious end-of-season honors for the Iowa shooting sports athletes are the All-State Team and the Al Baxter Memorial Iowa DNR Cup. The All-State Team is determined by the Singles Trap League score and the State Trap Singles Championship score combined. The Al Baxter Memorial is the cumulative total of the Singles Trap League, the Handicap Trap Championship, and the Singles Trap Championship for the top 5 individuals from a given school. All through the season, face-to-face competitors strive to win team trophies and individual medals. Not everyone does, however. Most important is that each and every participant is awarded the knowledge that they have improved as an athlete, as a student, as a person. They have taken on the responsibility to be a safe shooter, be part of a team, and have fun. To set goals, no matter how big or small, and to achieve them. This is what the youth shooting sports in Iowa is all about.